Sir, recording has begun.
Okay, good evening. We will call this meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask Commissioner Hall, do you mind leading us?
Nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from December 5th. Has everybody had a chance to review and take a look at the minutes? Any concerns by anybody?
Chairman Sampson, I move that we adopt the December 5th, 2023 meeting minutes as presented.
Do I have a second? Okay. All those that concur or approve, please show me your hands. All right. The motion is agreed upon. Minutes are adopted. The next item on the agenda, under matters of discussion, is the official zoning map update. Director Harrington, I'll turn it over to you.
Good evening, Planning Commission members. For the record, Janine Harrington, Director of Planning for the town. So every time the town updates zoning categories or adds land via annexation, we do need to update the official zoning map for the town. In 2022, we had adopted 3 annexation agreements. The Hub, which was zoned TDX, Villages of Roswick, which was zoned NCX, and Hawthorne Yards, which was zoned NCX. Due to adding those properties to the town, we did update the official zoning map. So tonight, it's a matter of the Planning Commission reviewing and providing a recommendation to the Town Council to adopt that official zoning map for the record. And that's really all there is to it. If you have any other questions for me, I'm happy to answer those.
Okay, I'll start with Councilwoman Bryant Ward. You have any questions?
No.
Commissioner Hall? Commissioner Banks? Commissioner Meniski?
No.
Okay, I have just 2 quick questions.
Okay.
For the zoning NCX for Hawthorne, did we receive any feedback or anything from any of the residents in that area?
I believe that there was public comment that were received, and that the Town Council did receive those as part of the public hearing process.
No major concerns?
Yeah, I mean, there was the typical concerns of traffic, population increase, those types of things.
Okay. And then my second question, which also applies to the roadmap. I noticed on the zoning map, there's a red line that runs from Box Elder to La Plata. It's just a straight line. And I know it's supposed to be the boundary. And so I was assuming what that was saying was that road is just all we have, that those red lines encase the boundaries on the right side of the map.
Oh, that is the, so that was the caveat on getting Kings Grant annexed into the town.
Mhm.
They also annexed in a trail. It's like
Okay.
20 feet wide trail, and that's technically what connects Kings Grant to the official town boundary.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other questions from anybody? Okay.
Commissioner Sampson, I move that we approve the updated zoning map.
Okay. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay. I'll call everybody to see how they vote. Councilwoman Bryant Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner High,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Meniski,
Yes.
and I also say yes. So that recommendation is approved. The next one is the zoning map update for the road.
Yes, the official street map. So it came to my attention via legislative services that we had not updated our official street map in quite a while. So I went through again with our GIS layer. I did receive the most recent layer from the Charles County E911 addressing. And we went through and made sure that the roads reflected the most current status of ownership. So we did add some roads and reflected any roads that had been dedicated to the town in recent years. So this is really just to reestablish the official street map within the town as indicated in chapter 170-7. And then anytime that we do, basically what we're going to do is look forward to doing this at least once a year as we get roads dedicated to the town. That way we keep it updated. And I did attach the road list along with the map just so we could see the actual roads instead of trying to figure out what they are on the map. So again, this is just a recommendation from the Planning Commission to the Town Council to approve the official street map for the record.
Okay. I'll start with Commissioner Moniski. Any questions?
No questions.
Commissioner Banks? Councilwoman Brown Ward?
I did have questions and I think I've asked them already. I couldn't understand how some roads were like on Washington Avenue would be considered rural and how some roads on Glen Auburn would be considered rural, and Director Harrington did explain that, so thank you.
Okay. Commissioner High?
No.
Okay. I had one question on the street map.
Mhm.
Once again, it's the this one is the box, the red line. I was trying to it borders Hartford to the north and Piscataway to the south. So
Can
it's
we-
a red
can we-
square. And since it's a boundary line, I was trying to figure out, does that mean everything inside the box?
Oh, that's the SMECO. That's an enclave. That's the SMECO substation.
Okay.
And that technically was never annexed into the town. It's just kind of there.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any further questions?
I did have, it's more of a point of clarification for my benefit. I'm curious, I see urban throughout for the most part, throughout the streets. At what point do we move to suburban?
So the street list that I provided was from Charles County. So those determinations that they used for the type of roadway come out of their standard details that they have. So there's a difference between whether there are sidewalks on the road, what the right-of-way width is, what the width of pavement is. If there's street trees, they have a whole bunch of different standards that make up the different types of roads and what their categories are. So that's something that when we go to update chapter 170, that's something that we'll consolidate and make sure that we provide definitions and terminology for moving forward. But yeah, those were put in there by Charles County for their determination.
Okay, thank you, that's helpful.
Any other further questions? All right. Do I have a motion to approve this recommendation?
Councilman Sampson, Commissioner Sampson, I move that we approve the updated street map.
Okay. And do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. I'll call each individual by name. Commissioner Moniski,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner Hyde,
Yes.
and I also am a yes. So that recommendation is approved.
Thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda is the planning updates.
And would you be able to pull I can't seem to pull it up on my phone. Would you be able to pull up that for me so I could use that for reference? The planning updates? Yes, thank you. So this was the FY 2025 budget overview that I'd provided to the council, and I thought it was a good overview to provide to the Planning Commission as well. If you could go to the next page. So this is just the standard mission for the planning department. We include it in all of our budgetary memos. You can go to the next page. This is our staff for the planning department. Wanted to make sure that everybody knew who was on our team. So we have Aaron, Debbie, and Mitchell. You're doing a great job. Next page, please. So we've had several upgrades within the town planning department as we've gone through with drafting processes and permitting software. We're still in the middle of working on our municity software update, and we're going to be pushing out a public portal for people to be able to pay online and to submit online electronically. So that is in progress right now. We still have a lot of things that we need to accomplish as far as zoning code updates and the adequate public facilities ordinance, roads and sidewalks, waters and sewers. We've seen a huge increase in development and mainly because of Pine Grove. And we've also had several multifamily apartment projects come forward. So that's really increased the amount of building permits and reviews that we've been seeing. But we didn't have any major budget issues proposed for FY 2025. And you can go to the next page, please. So as far as staffing considerations, we currently have a manager of inspections, an inspector 2, and a planning tech / permit technician. We don't officially have a permit technician position, so I'd like to establish that. We are also hiring a administrative assistant that's part finance and part planning. So they help out with the rental inspections and farmers market permits, some of those types of things. So we're actively looking for someone to fill that position. But other than that, we don't have any major, besides a planner, obviously, we don't have any major needs for staff at this time. We are looking to do training and promotional opportunities within the department. So as I stated, Debbie Simpson, who is a planning technician, she took the International Code Council Permit Technician certification, which was a huge deal. It was a very difficult test, so we were very proud of her. And Mitchell is moving forward with a lot of his certifications for the property maintenance code and fire, so he can continue to grow within code enforcement. And so we'll keep up with everyone's training and making sure that they get everything that they need. Next page, please. So I provided a development overview, and it's difficult to see on the screen, and I don't have it memorized by heart. But I did lay out, and this is going to tie into the annual report that you'll be seeing in the next couple of months that's due to the state. So I did for 2023 the permit overview as far as how many permits we received, what types, and in which months. So you can see that there was a decent increase in residential building permits, and that again was mainly due to Pine Grove. And so our increase in permits was definitely something that has been different from other years. Next page, please. And then I went through and I put in the proposed developments that are happening around town by ward. This was mainly for the council to be able to see where the projects are within their wards. So each of those sections, you can see Martin's Crossing and Magnolia Gardens and Pine Grove, as well as the Rosewood Corner for Ward 1. Next page, please. For Ward 2, we had the Pine Grove, mainly Pine Grove, and Agricopia Section 7A. Next page, please. For Ward 3, we had Steeplechase, which is moving forward with their Phase 3. We received a submission for South Town Center, which is a proposed multifamily project, and Stagecoach, as well as a few developments that are downtown, and the LaGrange subdivision, which went to the Board of Appeals for a senior living community. So all of those are kind of in development at this time. And next page, please. And then Ward 4, again, that takes up a good portion of Pine Grove and a single lot the stair property. They're doing one lot off of La Plata Parkway. Next page, please. And I included in the, just as a update and kind of overview on the water and sewer situation. So as it stands with just using the town's allocations, water allocations from the ground, we are at a point of, needing more water. We have 2 projects that will be coming to Planning Commission next month. That'll be Pine Grove Neighborhood I, but it's only a portion of Neighborhood I, and Phase 3A, so it's only a portion of Steeplechase Phase 3 that's going to be coming to Planning Commission next month. And after those 2, I will not have any more water to allocate at the current time. Once we sign a water agreement with the county, that will give us 1 million gallons of water a day additional, then I can start reallocating into the pool. So that's something that we're working on, and I think we found a solution to kind of move forward. But that is something that after next month's meeting, until we have that agreement signed, I will not have any more water to allocate.
Director Harrington. Councilman Sampson.
Mhm.
Those 2 developments, are those preliminary plats? Are they
They will be final plats.
final plats? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
because both of the preliminary plats have been approved by Planning Commission, so
Okay.
they'll be final plats.
Because we're not approving any more preliminary plats, whether we have the water or not, right?
So the preliminary plats do not allocate water and sewer. So we can continue to review and approve preliminary plats. They do have the expiration of 1 year,
Right.
so they don't allocate anything at that point.
But if we approve the preliminary plat and they are aggressive and continue to work their plats is 1 year, and then they move into the next phase, so they would have an expectation of getting to their final plat. So would we still?
There would be a condition
Okay.
listed, yeah.
Okay.
That would be,
Okay.
the idea would be to make sure that it was understood that, the preliminary plat is not allocating anything.
Right.
If you choose to proceed forward with the engineering and, getting everything ready for final plat, you're basically going to be put in a queue. And that's how we're going to have to handle it for the time being, because it's on a as submitted basis. So that's kind of how I was hoping that this would go, because I'm not trying to stop
Right.
development completely. So this way we can continue forward and keep projects moving through the review process and add them to a queue.
Okay. Okay.
Next page, please. More permit overview, just a breakdown of the different permits and how many we approved throughout the calendar year of 2023. Next page, please. We provided a rental overview, so you can kind of see that our rentals, we require the rental applications to be renewed every 2 years. So you can kind of see that it goes up and down as those are renewed. Next page, please. And so, yes, I will point out that this is the calendar year 2023 accomplishments. However, it does make up a portion of FY23 and FY24. So it's I didn't use the appropriate terminology to really reflect what we were doing. But we had a lot of ups and a few downs, but mainly positive things that happened throughout 2023. We did draft the adequate public facilities ordinance. We're currently working through kind of final revisions on that, hopefully, so we can get that moving forward. We created the development capacity analysis to kind of track growth and how we're going to handle water and sewer. We had the grant awarded for the shared pedestrian bike path for Radio Station Road, which is moving forward in the review process. Our urban tree canopy study was completed. And we did several upgrades and updates to the town's website, including monthly development updates. There are now transportation updates. So a lot of things that you can find on the town's website, which are very helpful. We did create and adopt the Planning Commission rules and procedures, which was a great step forward. And then we have several chapters that are currently under review, but we did adopt revisions to Chapter 181, Vehicles and Traffic, which will help out our code enforcement and police officers with enforcement action. And that ties into Chapter 1 for the general penalty and how those violations are handled. We had a lot of good public outreach. Polly the Pollinator was a huge hit. So please make sure you come out to celebrate La Plata on April 27th, because Polly will be coming out of hibernation. So just saying, and there's a Facebook page, so go follow Polly because she has fun. We planted a native demonstration garden here at Town Hall. We're doing a lot of planting and, tree plantings at Wills Park, Tillman Lake. So we've gotten a lot of good things going on that side. I did a presentation about annexations at the Maryland Municipal League at the conference last year, which was a great experience. It was something I'd never done before, and I was terrified, but it was really good to get out there and do that. So yeah, that was some of our accomplishments, and looking forward to the next year and how we're going to keep moving forward. So if you go to the next page, I'll kind of talk about our goals for calendar year 2024 / FY24, FY25. Kind of overlaps again. This year, I'm really going to be focusing on code revisions. We've gotten a lot of other things done that, it kind of sets me up to get these things accomplished. A lot of these we've already talked about with Planning Commission, with the APFO. We have a forest conservation ordinance that's, there was legislation passed by the state that may be postponed by 2 years, depending on how things go. So we're keeping an eye on that. But again, we need to get these things updated. Subdivision ordinance hasn't been updated in a very long time. It's very outdated. We need to look at it. Waters and sewers, health and sanitation, zoning code. There's a lot of things to look at and just kind of update as needed. And again, we're doing the town zoning map here tonight. We need to update the ward map to accommodate the new annexations as well, which we're working on with legislative services. We're going to finalize the development guide for the public, and that will include the Municity Public Citizen Self-Service Portal. I was kind of holding off on putting that out there until we had that, and I knew what the process was going to be to add that in there. I've created a comprehensive plan tracking page, which is off of the planning department site, so you can kind of see where we're at with comprehensive goals and action items. Looking to complete the town's meets and bounds update just to make sure that we have accurate meets and bounds for the town's boundary. And again, providing support with Keep a Plate Beautiful, Bird City, and all our other environmental initiatives. Next page, please. That's it. If you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay. Commissioner Hyatt?
Thanks very much, Director Harrington. One question on the goals slide for FY25, all of the code revisions. Is that in any priority order, or is it, you have a plan of how you're going to do that? You mentioned one was particularly old. Is there any process you're going to use to go through those? Thank you.
Yes. So the main priority at this point is the adequate public facilities ordinance. That's the only one that technically has a priority item on it because of the water and sewer situation. We've noted that the streets and sidewalks chapter needs to be updated. So I don't really have a particular order for the rest of them. We did do the first draft of the forest conservation ordinance because I thought we'd have to have that adopted by July. We still might, but at this point, it's kind of seeing where the priority lies with either, if the planning commission has input and as well as the council as what priorities are needed. You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Councilwoman?
Thank you, Councilman. Commission. Okay, we're gonna get this right. Voting here. All right, Commissioner Simpson. So you are looking to add 4 new team members?
At this point, it's 1 new position,
Okay.
and then hopefully promotion. And then there's the part-time administrative assistant it's upfront, but it does partly planning and partly finance.
Because I was gonna ask you, where do you sit?
Nowhere, because there's no more desks.
Thank you. And you did an excellent job at MML when you did the presentation, and this was really great to see and hear. You do share a lot with us, but the work that went into this is phenomenal. So thank you.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. Piggybacking off of Councilwoman Ryan Ward, you talked about, and kudos to the staff for continuing to get their professional trainings. But I'm just curious, is that at their personal cost? And is that so it's at the town's cost? And so if that's the case, is there also a requirement for them to stay on the job for a certain period of time? So they can't just take that training and go somewhere else and that certification and go somewhere else?
So not to my knowledge, I don't think that there's any requirement that you have to stay at the town for a certain amount of time. The training does have to be job related.
Mhm.
If there's any exams that are involved, generally you have to score a certain grade or better. Or if you don't pass it the first time, then you'd be responsible for paying for it, moving on. So there are some caveats in there, but generally we don't have any stipulations for training.
Okay. And just shifting, thank you for that, shifting gears a little bit. Can you help me connect the dots between the accomplishments of rolling out the permitting software and then the goal for the online service portal? It sounds like it's all a part of the larger software. It's just a matter of certain pieces rolling out sooner than others.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes. So we did the initial installation of the permitting software, which is being used and tested by staff at this time. So there's always going to be bugs and things that needs to be
Sure.
fixed. And then once staff is comfortable using the system, they know, they'd be able to help people in the public on how to use it, how to log in. Once we're comfortable with it, then we would push out the online portal because there's a certain level of public education that's required, and we want to make sure that our staff is comfortable.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, at this time, we'll get the council updates. Councilwoman Brian Ward.
Thank you, Commissioner Sampson. I'm gonna get it right tonight. So just two updates. Former Councilman Matt Simpson, who was a council member from 17 to 21, passed away. And we certainly want to keep his family in our prayers. Very passionate about our town, and I thought he was a good council member. And then I think something really major, we've been working with Stagecoach Development and finally got to a place where we could approve the town manager to enter into an agreement with them. And that was huge because that was a long time coming and a lot of work and effort. And so for staff and all of the efforts that you put forward, thank you for that, because I can't imagine, the amount of effort that took place to get us to this point. So thank you for that. And so you'll have new neighbors and eventually, yeah, they're gonna be coming through your section.
They're not gonna be happy.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I think we've gotten rid of the noisemakers, so.
Any other questions by anybody? All right, if there's no further questions, I will call this meeting adjourned.
Thank you.